Greetings, everyone, and welcome. November the 8th, 2025. And yes, Ukraine suffered a massive attack overnight on their energy grid and their gas grid. But right now, reports coming out, it is 12:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:20 p.m. in Kyiv, that the city of Kyiv is completely blacked out. Now, I am not in Kyiv right now. I have friends there, and the ones I've spoken to are blacked out. But Kyiv is a massive city. The video and the information I have coming in is Kyiv's blacked out, and it's going to be that way at least for a minimum of the next 9 hours. I remind you that that is a massive, massive city there as the capital of Ukraine. So yes, Ukraine struck hard overnight, but in addition to that, they also are being struck again right now over the last hour. More Kinjal missiles attacking Kremenchuk. Zaporizhia was attacked with Shaheeds, explosions in Kharkiv, ballistic missile strikes on the energy grid, and also in Dnipro city. And now, just about 10 minutes ago, Russia launching Iskanders toward Kharkiv as well. I can tell you that Belgorod, some good news, Belgorod is blacked out right now from Ukraine striking them. That's the city just north of Kharkiv. So, yes, it's very tough. The grid is under fire. The weather is changing. Yes, Pokrovsk, I'm changing topics there for just a second, is very tough, but it's all interconnected. Yes, Ukraine has made some good counter moves on the front lines. And yes, Hungary's moves yesterday will become a challenge. There is a lot happening right now. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you every fact possible that I can. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let's jump right in. Right here. This is the massive targeted strike from overnight. I'm going to give you quotes from Centrenergo and also Naftogaz. So you have the energy company and the gas company. Upper left, they quote, and I quote, "The most massive strike on our thermal power plants since the beginning of the war. An unprecedented number of missiles and drones hit several stations at once." Naftogaz, bottom right, quoting, "Russia massively attacked our gas infrastructure facilities. 415 out of 503 targets were destroyed by the air defense of Ukraine. In total, 458 UAVs, most Shaheeds, 25 Iskanders or KN-23s, and I remind you the KN-23s are from North Korea, 10 Iskanders, 3 Caliber cruise missiles from the Black Sea, and I have in the red there, I want you to pay attention to, 7 Kinjals. Those are the hypersonic missiles. I actually was watching this attack live last night, and the guys I follow for the strikes, the launches, where the air alarms are in depth, the tracking of the missiles or the drones, it was like nonstop. MiG-31 in the air, MiG-31 in the air, MiG-31 lands, MiG-31 in the air. It was a very heavy, concentrated attack, and unfortunately, a lot of infrastructure was damaged and destroyed. 2 key places that we're looking at. Number one is the Trupilska. This is a massive power plant providing electricity to the central region of Ukraine and Kyiv. Of course, this is the one that's damaged massively, and this is why Kyiv is suffering blackouts right now. In addition to that, Zmivska, over below Kharkiv. I've been to Zmiv. It's the town of Zmiv many times. This has a huge power plant there. It's the largest of the entire company, and I actually have some video in on Zmiv I can show you so that you can see just the type of destruction here. This is the entry road coming in. This video's already went public, so I can share it, but this is the Zmiv power plant just earlier when we had daylight, and that is the amount of destruction taking place. Now, one of the things that we're probably not paying attention to in this is how much Russia is striking at rail, because so much energy is being struck. We're not paying attention to the rail. This right here is the town of Hrebinka. It is in the Poltava region. You can see this was struck overnight. It's destroyed. It's a very important rail switching center. I can show you where it is at. So if you look on the map right here, you see this blue arrow right in the middle. This is where it is located. Of course, Kyiv is here. Kharkiv is here. Odessa down here, just to give you reference points. So this is a rail station right in the center where transport is very important. If I come down into Hrebinka, you can see what type of switching station here. And this is just, satellite imagery. Look how many trains. Of course, it's not live now, but this was a satellite generated image. But you can see how important this switching station and transport junction is, and now it has been destroyed. It's tough, guys. It's very, very tough. Let's continue on right now, and let's talk about Pokrovsk. Zelenskyy yesterday making comments on Pokrovsk. I didn't get into them because of all of the information coming out about Hungary. We also have information about Kupiansk, and in addition to that, Belarus. And we need to pay attention to this, and Lukashenko. But many, many different mapping services I follow. And that would be Institute of Study of War, and then down to people like Andrew Perpetua, AMK, all the Russian mapping, Deep State. I look at them all, mix them all together, and then somehow I think in the middle of that we get the most accurate pictures, because especially the pro-Ukrainians like Andrew Perpetua working very hard to validate every coordinate and every line that is put on that map. So if I come here, this is the Institute for the Study of War. This is the city of Pokrovsk, and they're showing a very small gap. The gold here means leaning pressure, meaning Russia stating they have control over that, but Deep State may call it more of like a gray zone. But you're seeing the same kind of picture. And even if I just measure gray zone to gray zone, we're under 3 kilometers. So this is really closing in here. This is the Mirnograd Pokrovsk. So it's becoming very, very difficult. Now, I will tell you that we do have some good news on the north side of Pokrovsk. You can see Ukraine making very strong pushes back up here, the blue, where they have liberated to the east of Dobropilya. But even here on this mapping that I use as well, it's showing the same picture. The same picture, Pokrovsk, very, very difficult, and probably we're going to be hearing some information coming from the military about Pokrovsk over the next few days, I would guess. But let's go to Zelenskyy now. This is the video I have for you from yesterday, and we need to listen to this. And then in addition to that, military commander then begins to speak also about Pokrovsk. Regarding Pokrovsk, you know that it's a very complex situation, and the enemy's top goal is to capture Pokrovsk quickly. That is their goal that remains. It is very clear from the attacks, 220 assaults over the last 3 days on Pokrovsk inside the city itself, according to our military data. There are currently 314 Russians inside Pokrovsk. Now let's talk about Kupiansk. We've advanced 1,100 to 1,200 meters thanks to our troops. We believe that the situation is tense and may worsen as more Russian fighters accumulate. Our military spotted 600 new soldiers gathering there today. On Dobropilya, we are making good progress. It's positive on our operation there. But I think Russia wants Pokrovsk, this situation, they'll keep pushing constantly and as strong as they can, and they fear very strong decisions from the United States would come against them if they fail on the battlefield in Pokrovsk. So it's crucial for Russia to do everything to capture that city, to show that they can be strong on the battlefield in any format, whether going to Volchansk or doing something else. They need to demonstrate success, and then they can turn around the narrative and try to claim that we told you we will capture all of Donbass. We're strong. We would force them out. We'll force the president and the Ukrainians to leave all of Donbass because we'll definitely seize it, eastern Ukraine. We'll make it. And after that, we'll negotiate. So I think that this is the factor that could influence the implementation or postponement of new sanction packages because everyone's waiting to see. All right, we'll stop right there. That's Zelensky. Now we're going to the military commander. Listen, Pokrovsk was just laid out for you by President Zelensky why it is so important. Multiplicity of reasons. And I know people say, okay, he says there's 314 Russians inside of Pokrovsk, but Greg, even you are showing the map here. And this is the most conservative map. This is deep state. So you can see, even with deep state, they're showing that yes, Russia has occupied these lines and a majority of Pokrovsk is in a gray, meaning both Ukrainian and Russian troops are there. As I have always suggested to each and every one of you, we now must be patient and let the true story unfold. It is a war zone. Of course, Institute of Study of War showing it differently. This AMK showing it differently. Perpetua's map shows it differently, but once again, patience is in order as we wait for complete clarity. Now, we're going to continue with this military commander. Listen, regarding Pokrovsk, the president said that today it's one of the hottest areas right now. The enemy continues attempting to capture Pokrovsk and encircle the city. Indeed, they have created a certain advantage in forces and resources there in the Pokrovsk area. They've infiltrated parts of the urban areas, especially on the southern side of the city, trying to establish footholds to continue their advance. Every decision regarding this operation will be made by military command. This isn't public information, but once decisions are made and can be made public, everyone will be informed of the consequences. But for right now, public information, if we released it, it could harm the city's defenders. All right, so there you have a little bit of the clues. You know, we'll wait. Everything will be official through the military. If we release information now, it could be, detrimental to our defenders that are in the city. So that is why we have patience. And up to this moment, midday here, East Coast, 7:30-ish p.m. in Ukraine, this is the information we have, and we wait for step-by-step facts to be unfolded. Now, Zelensky then made a very bold statement about Lukashenko that needed to be made because the United States has released sanctions on Belavia and other Belarusian state companies. That's their air company. That is now officially released. And Lukashenko is trying to position himself as some kind of middleman and negotiator. And Zelensky shut that down. And there is a reason, because Belarus was involved in the initial wave of invasion. And their airspace is used quite regularly, believe it or not. But the initial invasion, Belarus allowed Russia to come through, and Zelensky says, we'll never forget it. Lukashenko must not be forgotten. He's suddenly become very chatty in the media again, showing how kind he is to our Ukrainian people, and we do not need that kind of kindness. I remember at 4 a.m. when missiles were coming our way. And if he thinks that now his words will somehow erase our memories, he is very wrong. We young people remember everything clearly, and he will pay for what he did, allowing the attacks from his territory, his airspace, starting a full-scale war, launching strikes on us from Belarus. No one will forget this. So there you have it. Zelensky saying, hey, we're young, we're not old like you, and we do not forget that it was just a few years ago that you green-lighted the attack on our sovereign nation and allowed Russia to use your territory. No going back on that. Now, we've been having some questions over the last few days about where is Sergei Lavrov, and today I do have information coming from Lavrov that he has spoken out about nuclear testing. So There's rumors going crazy everywhere. Don't follow any of those. Wait for facts. Now, I'm waiting to see video on him, to be honest. I'm getting ready this afternoon to go through all of my Russian sources. But to now, we do have these quotes, and they've come from Peskov and other Kremlin sources, that says Russia has received no diplomatic explanation from the United States regarding Trump's call to resume nuclear testing. And this was attributed to Sergei Lavrov. He said the comments from Washington demonstrate that there is no clear understanding of what the U.S. president exactly meant. So if Lavrov is here back getting involved, his target is on the nuclear rhetoric between the United States and Russia. Finally, guys, the play of the day, and you cannot make this stuff up. Today, Medvedev being awarded by Patriarch Kirill the Order of the Righteous Prince Dmitry Donskoy, First Class. You can't make it up. Yes, I can confirm to you, Kyiv blacked out, getting more messages about that, and Ukraine being struck again at the energy grid. We'll keep you posted. A lot is unfolding. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, caring, liking, subscribing, and standing with Ukraine as we fight for freedom and the future. Be blessed.